Hey folks, it's been a while and there are some good reasons for that, which I'll get into shortly. But I also have something I'm really excited about that I'll catch you up on a little bit later in this video. I just wanted to start off with, because this video is coming out towards the end of January, I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas and a great New Year with your respective families and friends. I hope you're all doing well and are in good health. It means the world to me that any of you care about my music in any capacity. So 2024 was, for all intents and purposes, pretty crap. Between my day job being the most intense employment I've ever had to deal with for the better part of 9 months, and don't worry, the humor of dropping an album with heavy emphasis on work culture killing your dreams just before this year isn't lost on me. I had some pretty serious developments in my personal life, some of which impacted the band Tuberz McGee pretty heavily. To outline how this affected the band, I thought I might quickly bring you up to speed with the way the band operates. In 2011, I started writing music on my own in my bedroom at age 16 on a laptop with a program called Family Tracker that was used to emulate the sounds of the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yes, so the Nintendo thing has been pretty consistent for about 13 years. And most of this music was instrumental, but along the way, I wrote a few songs that featured some vocals, guitars, and other band setups in general. And I kind of accidentally stumbled into writing music in this kind of pop-punk chiptune vernacular, which is, I guess, the opposite way to a lot of other bands do it, where they start as pop-punk and add the chiptune. So in about 2017, I released my first album, with Tuberz McGee being a full band endeavor. Of course, this was only in spirit, as I didn't really have anyone else who helped me. I tracked everything, I wrote everything, and I mixed everything. I'm a bit of a control freak, and the astute of you will realize that this album doesn't exist anymore. But that's a story for another time. I had been playing in a lot of bands over the previous few years and had developed some really strong friendships with some of the musicians I played with. One person who I developed a really deep kinship with was the person who would eventually become our bass player, Matthew. Matt was a guitar player, and when I asked him to play bass, he remarked that he wasn't a bassist. I knew this, but I wanted him to be a part of this band because I trusted him as a person. He actually helped me open up to the idea of inviting a drummer that we previously had played with, and that man was Daniel. And together it felt like I finally had friends who I had so much joy working on music with. The main reason I wanted people to play with was because I liked the idea of playing with friends, not just musicians. I was just really lucky that they both kick ass at their instruments. I put up a post on August 1st that kind of explains everything pretty succinctly. It is with incredible sadness that I must announce that longtime friend, supporter, bassist, and chief of good ideas Matt has passed on. I don't think our music will ever be the same. There was so much Matt in everything we did. I'm devastated. Hold your loved ones close. Matt passed away in July of 2024. And this was a pretty heavy blow to myself and Dan. I'd known him for a while, but Dan was actually high school friends with him, so I know that it hit Dan extra hard. I'd only just gotten over the idea of letting people in to be a part of the art I liked creating, and this felt like a massive blow to my core. And I've spent the better part of a year trying to make sense of it, and I just don't think I'm going to. Dan is actually the one who convinced me that Matt wouldn't have wanted me to stop, so I owe a lot to Dan. And I owe a lot to Matt. He was always penned as my chief of good ideas, so it just hits all that much harder to have less good ideas in the world, alongside less good people. I realize that I'm not going to get better if I don't force myself to start creating again, so I'm going to push my hardest. In 2025, my aim is to create 12 songs. Once each month, write, record, mix, and release. I would do the whole thing a week thing, but I don't trust in my capacity to do that at the moment. I'm still working. So the first song is actually coming out tomorrow, which is super crazy. So keep an eye on my socials, all linked below. Look after yourselves, folks. Life hits hard, but with a good support network, we can all get back up and hit back. And I plan on hitting back 12 times this year. So I hope you'll come along for the ride. Thanks so much for listening. And most importantly, look after yourselves.